listening to Jeremy Corbyn, let alone Len, talking about the Middle East and the way to solve the Middle East's problems is like watching somebody trying to do brain surgery whilst wearing boxing gloves. I mean, it is so cack-handed, it's just beyond belief. Nobody in this region could make any sense of their dreams and claims and assertions. Everything that they said falls apart on first analysis.
And the most extraordinary thing to me was Jeremy Corbyn's resolute refusal to answer two simple questions. Should Hamas stay in power, and are they a terror group? He wouldn't do it. I mean, LEN MCCLUSKEY answered both, but Corbyn was paralysed. He could not answer those two basic questions.
But I'm afraid, as you know, Piers, that's a character career trait of Jeremy Corbyn's. It was just the same with Sinn Féin IRA. He always seems to keep the door open to terror groups, whether they are anti-British terror groups like the IRA or anti-Israel groups like Hamas. I don't know why he feels this need. He's never been involved in any international peace negotiations anywhere, certainly never anywhere with any success, never anywhere with any prominence even. So it's always bizarre to hear him talking as if he's sort of been the UN Secretary General for the last 50 years.
And quite scary to think he was nearly, potentially, Prime Minister of this country. I mean, it does beg the question, if this had happened to us, what would his reaction have been? If he's not able to say that Hamas, after what they did on October the 7th, are a terrorist organisation, what would have happened if a terror organisation had killed 1,500 British people on our soil, if he'd been running the country?
Absolutely, and I'd add to that. I mean, you know, he talks about the importance of clarity and being absolutely clear on things, and is very unclear on things himself. What he just said there about the Palestinians and Hamas, and I mean, he and LEN MCCLUSKEY talk about Palestine, for instance. What do they mean by Palestine? Do they mean the West Bank? Do they mean the West Bank and Gaza? Do they mean the West Bank, Gaza and East Jerusalem? Like, what is this state? Do they mean everything in pre-1948 or post-1948? They never say. They just talk about this non-existent state that still doesn't exist because for decade after decade, people like them have supported the worst possible elements and have encouraged them in this delusion that Israel can be disappeared. It's not going to be disappeared. And yet this delusion is encouraged, among other things, among some people in the Palestinian leadership, which is why when they're offered 99% of a state, as they have been time and time again, they say no, because 99% isn't 100%.